back to another episode of What It Takes. Today we're talking to Miss Sheunta. Oh my gosh, she is such a sweetheart, guys. She is more of a new agent, but this girl got tips for you. She's going to help you avoid some heartaches from being a newbie. So if you want to know all the little tips and gems she spit out in today's video, you definitely want to watch this one. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you would like to be on an episode of What It Takes, email me at helpmeagentpatricia@gmail.com. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of What It Takes, guys. So today we have a special guest, Miss Sheunta. Girl, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for coming on today. So excited to ask you a few questions. So
I'm excited to be here.
Thank you. So introduce yourself. Who are you?
So my name is Sheunta Jones. I'm here in Georgia. And I'm actually kind of new to Medicare, to the Medicare space, but I had my life insurance license for 3 years now.
Okay. So what made you say, okay, I've been doing this, I have my license for 3 years. What made you say, okay, it's time for me to actually do it, utilize my license? Like, what was the aha moment for you?
So I initially started with Primerica. So I'm not sure if you ever heard of Primerica, but Primerica only does life. So somebody introduced me to the health side of it. And the person that introduced me, she was like, girl, you need to do Medicare because you get renewals and this and that. I didn't know what renewals were, was at the time. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. So I got my license in August of last year. And then once I got my license, I started during AEP doing my contracts and everything. But what made me really want to get my health insurance license was the renewals and the fact that I could really grow my business. Because life insurance to me is kind of up in the air. It's kind of, with chargebacks and stuff like that, it's easier to do health insurance, even ACA to me.
So do you do ACA as well, or are you doing mostly Medicare?
Yeah, I do ACA as well.
Okay. So tell me, like, what's your favorite lead source? Like, how are you, like, seeing your clients? Like, what are you doing to get yourself out there? Because I've seen a lot of your Facebook posts and I see you, like, out there doing tabletops and things like that. So, like, what's your lead strategy? Alrighty, guys. So I just wanted to pause really quick just to explain something really quick. So as I was having this conversation with her, she was mentioning a carrier name. And I don't like to say carrier names on my channel because I don't want that carrier to tell me to take the video down. So when you hear a alarming sound, it's because we are saying a carrier name. So that's what that sound is. And the last question I asked her is, what is her lead source? So anyways, continue to watch.
We have an awesome FMO. Like and I know it's a long story, but I initially started with AEP and I was a captive agent. So of course I could only write with that upline, like they didn't really help a lot. Like it was hard for me to really grasp the business of it, the business part of it. And I went in Walmart one day because I rarely go in Walmart, but I went in Walmart one day and I just happened to see a young lady sitting at the table during AEP. And I talked to the young lady and I was like, how did you get to become a broker? And she broke it down and all that. And she gave me somebody that could help me. So I said all that to say this. So now that I'm not a captive agent, that I'm a broker and I'm with this company, they give us leads. We can call. We have a representative here in Georgia that we can call and, we can say, hey, we got this event. Will you sponsor this event? Like we literally don't pay for any leads. Like we have a preset appointment setter. that's in South Carolina, and she'll set all our appointments. We'll just tell her what day we want to go. She'll set all our appointments, so we don't have to pay for any leave. And our book of business is our book of business.
Wow, that's amazing. Because sometimes there's like a give and take. If you are getting leads from your FMO, are they cutting some of your commission? And as far as
yeah, so like I sometimes have to ask my upline, like, is this real? Because I watch so many YouTube videos like, you got to buy leads to build your Medicare business, and that's not true. And I have to ask her sometimes, like, you sure I can take my book of business with me if I choose to leave? And she reassures me all the time, and I know this to be true because somebody was in this business and they chose to move to a different FMO. And they took all their business with them.
That's amazing. So like, as far as like your leads, like, so you're saying that the FMO provides your leads. So tell me about your marketing as far as like how you market in the community itself. Like, how do you get yourself out there?
Go to like the nursing home communities. I ask for referrals when I'm out, on appointments, and that has helped me out a lot, a lot. We just had this huge senior spring break. It's on my page as well, where we had 300 seniors to come out. And so how we did it was, when they got off their bus or however they got there, we had them fill out a consent to contact form. So of course it's like 7 of us on the team, even though we split up, everybody got a piece of the lead, but that was free lead. We put in our time, but the event turned out awesome. Awesome. I can't wait for next year.
Wow, that's amazing. So this is like your first full year, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me the difference between working with you as a captive agent and being completely on your own. So when you transition over, what was the hardest thing for you when it comes to like transitioning? What you think was the moment where you're like, this is not what I thought?
I would say if I would have had a good upline like I have now, I probably would have still been there because I couldn't get the help to understand certain things. Like I didn't know the difference between Part B and Part D. I was thinking Part D is the one you pay for. I didn't know. So the difference would be, or what I would say that I learned from that situation is, the FMO is very important, or your upline is very important because that's the person that's going to train you.
Yes, I totally agree. Definitely, definitely, definitely. So as far as like your performance, right? So when you were selling with, and then you transitioned to being on your own, what would you say your performance is? If you could go back and evaluate yourself, right? From captive to independent, what would you say? How would you rate yourself?
I would rate myself now. I would rate myself at like an 8, and I only say that because I am a single parent and I can't give it 100% like I want to, not yet. But when I was with, it was just like I knew I had a contract with. It was just like I was kind of not caring about it because I didn't know what to do. Was the biggest thing.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So were you able to get the contract independently with now?
Yeah, I have it now. So I had to wait. They made you wait 6 months. Like you couldn't write any business under them for 6 months.
Yeah, that's very important to point out because people don't really realize that. Like, you got to know the release policy. Like, I feel like it's so important. It's one of the first things I tell people, like, ask whoever you're working with, whether it's a captive situation or an FMO situation, what is my release policy? If I want to leave, like how long I have to wait? Are you going to release me immediately or whatever the case may be? So,
yeah, and that too was a headache. Like I didn't understand, I just knew, I wanted to do this business, and I wish I would have read the contract a little bit more and kind of research even when you're in life insurance, you still have to make sure that you have, somebody that can lead you in the right direction. But I wish I would have read the contract on that because it was a headache trying to get from up under that person or release.
Yeah, definitely. So what are you doing with your life license now? Because I know you said that you started with Prime America. So what are you doing with that?
Um, Listen, chargeback has me in like a uproar. Like I don't really push it anymore. I used to push it really, really hard, but I just took a step back from it. If somebody asks for it, I'll do it, but I won't do, the amount that they ask me for or anything like that. Um, I just don't push it. I don't. I
Okay.
used to, if you look way back on my page, I used to push it really, really hard.
All right. Can I give you some tips with the life part?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're working with the senior population, right? So you need
Hmm.
to make sure that you have contracts where you can sell whole life. You want to sell whole life policies for their whole life, right? So that's
Right.
one thing that you do want to consider if you're not already if you don't already have those contracts. Number two, when you're sitting with someone, you need to do fact finding when it comes to can they actually afford it. Don't be
Right.
afraid to sell the policy or offer the policy because if you don't, the next person will, right?
Somebody else will. Yeah.
And I feel like if you're a really good salesperson, and it sounds like you were, you're gonna get a lot of chargebacks if you don't do the fact finding correctly. Because when you're a
Mm.
salesperson and you're really good at it, people will tell you yes in your face because they don't want to say no because you're so good at selling that product, right? So
Right.
you as the agent, as the broker, as the expert, you want to look at this and say, okay, can this person really afford this? And if it makes sense, look at their finances, see how much they actually make, see what's left over, Social Security and all of that, and then say, okay, this person could afford this. Let's go ahead and move on and sell them that policy. Don't be afraid to sell. Don't be afraid of chargebacks. And to help you with the chargebacks, do as earn.
Yeah. And that's what I did. I did as earn. I changed all my contracts to as earn.
Yeah, definitely. Because I found that within myself, like I was really good at selling. People would tell me yes, and then boom, here
Boom.
comes the chargeback. And you can call them all day long. They're not going to answer or whatever the case may be because they don't want to face you, right?
They don't want to deal with it. Yeah.
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 So
And that's, yeah. And you're right. You're right. Me and my upline talked about that as well. And everybody like changed their contracts to as earned because we almost kind of all had the same issue. Who wants to pay back something that we put our hard earned work into? That's time. But that's a part of the business too. So.
yeah, definitely. So when you look at your business, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, I see me scaling my business to have a team to where I have like a marketing person, somebody just like an assistant, somebody in the office, of course, a brick and mortar, um, and financially free. Really, that's my ultimate goal.
Yeah, definitely. You seem really young. So I think that's a goal that you definitely can achieve. You're like right in it when you need to be in it. Medicare is such a great opportunity. And I have every inch of my body says you can do this and you're gonna do really well.
Well, thank
Especially,
you.
of course, especially being so young and just having like that mindset of wanting financial freedom and
Mhm.
manifesting that, just take one day at a time, 1 year at a time, and you're doing great right now. So,
Thank you.
really great.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I know you're fairly new, but what would you say to a new agent, right? Let's put them in the same situation that you're in right now. They're captive
Mhm.
and they're thinking about transitioning to independent. Maybe they don't really understand what they're selling. What would you say to that person?
I would say definitely, I know it's like a repeat thing, but definitely choose your upline wisely, your FMO wisely. Um, know how you're gonna get your leads because that's how you're gonna grow your business. Read order your enrollment books. Make sure you read through them and understand what's what. So when you're giving it to a client, you can give them everything piece by piece, and make sure that they have questions, because if they don't have questions, they just listening. They're not really retaining the information. And I would also say build an open door kind of policy, cut off at a certain time, but have an open door policy with your clients, like they can call you anytime, because that's how you retain them.
Wow, I like that. So your client base right now, is it telesales or do you do face-to-face?
I do face-to-face.
Okay. And tell me, what do you, go ahead.
I forgot to tell you, we normally sit, so I know you asked about our lead base. So during AEP and OEP, we sit in Walmart. We sit in Walmarts and we do events outside of that.
Okay. So, back to the question. What do you like about face-to-face? Like, what makes you get up every day and go to your appointments? Like, what is like, oh, I love this. Like, I love this business.
And I know sometimes I be on my appointments too long, because I know some of my clients are long-winded, and so can I be. So I would say just being able to help them. A lot of them don't understand A, B, C, D. They don't understand none of that. And even when you tell them, sometimes they be like, can you write that down so I can make sure I can remember? But I would say building a friendship. I would say building a friendship and being able to actually help them understand how this works, because it's not easy to understand at all.
I'm so glad that you said that, because that was my next question, because I seen that you had a post that said that you love building relationships with your clients. So what are the key things that you put in place to build those relationships?
Yeah, so I make sure, like, when I give my clients their enrollment books, even though they have my business card, even though they have my magnet that I put on their refrigerator, I got that from you. I meant to tell you that. I staple something on the front of their enrollment books that basically says things to know if somebody call you, what to look for, what not to give somebody. And basically, if you have any questions, if it don't seem right, you call me. Because if it's something you're missing, then I can do that for you. Because me as a broker, I apply for extra help. I don't know what, I'm pretty sure it's called there, extra help too, and Medicaid as well for my clients. So, they get confused when they see on TVO they missing a benefit. And, I just reassure them they're not missing any benefits. But that's one thing that I do a little extra. Oh, and I send out thank you cards and birthday cards as well.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, those commercials be getting those seniors all confused. They be thinking they can get all this stuff, and it's just only to certain populations, unfortunately. But it sucks them in to call that 1-800 number. And next thing you know, that agent is switching them over to a plan that may not be the best for them. And then they're like, oh no, I switched my plan.
Yeah, and that's also, on that piece of paper, that's what I put on there too. If they switch you, you can be messed up, for the whole year. Just if you have any questions, write them down and call me. It's basically what I put on the front of the enrollment book. Wow. Because it is confusing.
Yeah, definitely. So if anybody wanted to reach out to you, if they wanted to get, some insurance from you, you're in Georgia, right?
Yeah, Georgia.
Okay. So how can they reach you?
You can follow me on Facebook. It's my name, Sheunta, and my last name is Jones. And I also have a Facebook, simply Sheunta. I haven't posted anything yet, but I will pretty soon. I haven't figured out my niche yet.
That sounds good. Well, thank you so much for coming on another episode of What It Takes. Do you have anything else to add?
No, just get out there and do it.
Yes, girl, I love it. Thank you so much, girl. See you.
All right, bye.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for watching a new episode of What It Takes. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you, yes, you, on the next video. Bye, guys.